How I feel? Blessed. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rock it. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she pop her hips, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gotti. I have a dream of one day becoming a sports broadcaster, so please help me reach that goal by subscribing to the channel and sharing on my page. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers and how I feel owner David Tepper has failed his franchise. This hits a little bit home for me because I am a Washington Commanders fan, and as we know, former Carolina Panthers head coach Ron Rivera is my current head coach. And also, the Washington Commanders, the next closest team to them, not named the Baltimore Ravens, is the Carolina Panthers. And before the Panthers were a NFL franchise, a lot of people from Carolina are Washington Commanders fans or were Washington Commanders fans. And I also have quite a few Carolina Panthers people subscribe to my channel. So shout out to my girl Donna B and my man Dominique Sally, and hopefully they check out these videos. So or this video. So we're going to talk about how I feel David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, has failed his franchise. Now today, the Carolina Panthers have fired Frank Reich and a bevy of other offensive personnel, whether it's Josh McCown or if it's Deuce Staley. The Carolina Panthers have had a terrible season, but I feel like it's because their owner, David Tepper, is too hands-on. Now, you may be like, Juan, when you're an owner, you can do that, in which you can because it's your team and you want to have a ton of say-so. However, you put certain people in positions because you trust them to lead your team in the right direction. So when you hire these guys, you got to allow them to do their job, and I don't think David Tepper did that. I think he was on the back of Frank Reich, and then Frank Reich wasn't able to really get comfortable. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like Frank Reich is the best coach and he had no fault in their downfall this season, but he had made some noise with the Indianapolis Colts and Carson Wentz a couple years ago. So Frank Reich, he has some talent. And word was that Frank Reich wanted to get C.J. Stroud with the #1 overall pick, but the ownership group of the Carolina Panthers kind of forced Bryce Young on him, and he didn't want Bryce Young. I don't think he didn't want Bryce Young because Bryce Young is a bad quarterback. I think Bryce Young has a ton of talent, but I don't think Bryce Young fits the kind of scheme that Frank Reich runs. Remember, Frank Reich is a guy that thrives off of pocket passes. You know what I'm saying? Again, his time in Philly with Carson Wentz and his time in Indianapolis was with Carson Wentz, and those were some of his best years. And Phillip Rivers and a ton of other pocket passes. Jacoby Brissett, like, he thrives off his offense being pocket passes. And what is C.J. Stroud? Even though he's shown a ton of athletic ability there in Houston, he's mainly a pocket passer. And Bryce Young isn't that. Okay, Bryce Young is a guy that needs to be in a scheme where he's able to, RPO, throw on a run, get out of the pocket, use his legs to be successful because obviously he's at a height disadvantage. So I don't think Frank Reich wanted Bryce Young. Now, you can sit up here and it's easy to say, oh, you should have took C.J. Stroud now when you look at the success that he's having in Houston. But Carolina also didn't have, the weaponry that a Houston Texans team has. However, they do have some guys on that team that could have been, contributors at least this season. Miles Sanders, obviously older Adam Thielen, so they had some pieces, and obviously they have dealt with some injuries, but I felt like they had an opportunity to win the NFC South. They were my pick to win the NFC South this offseason, which is very disappointing because you look at that division now and it's very winnable. So I think the Carolina Panthers are at a disadvantage and a disservice until their owner agrees to be hands-off. And I don't know if he'll ever do that, but if he decides to become hands-off and let whoever he hires next become the head coach and let him run this thing, I'm not saying it has to be a coach-centric approach, but I'm saying if he allows the next head coach to do the thing that he that run the team how he can and let him do his thing, I think they'll be good and they'll finally have some type of direction. Right now, they don't have no type of direction, and their young quarterback is lost because they're not setting him up for success. That defense, It's a solid unit. I heard that they wanted to trade Brian Burns before the trade deadline. I don't know why they didn't do that. I heard the Rams were willing to give up multiple first-round picks. They should have got rid of Brian Burns because Brian Burns is a good player, but you need to rebuild your team as quickly as possible. And he's probably that guy that's going to be on your team that's going to allow you to get them multiple or a first-round pick. You know, you got Jeremy Chin too, but you can move these guys to help you rebuild faster around Bryce Young. You need to get an offensive line. You need to get some weapons. Even though you had drafted an offensive lineman a couple years ago from I think NC State. You still need to build more. So there are a ton of holes on this Carolina Panthers team that, you know, scares me for Bryce Young's future. And I think the next coach that comes in there, whether it's a Ben Johnson, whether it's a Bobby Slowick, whoever, as those are the two main, you know, guys, whether it's Dan Quinn who finally decides to take a job, they need to cater to Bryce Young. And they need to find a guy, if it's a defensive minded, to find an offensive coordinator that's going to help build around, you know, Bryce Young's strengths, because it's all about the young quarterback. You traded away so much to get this young quarterback, and it's only right that you do by him, right? So that's just my take on it. What says you out there? If you're a Carolina Panthers fan and you happen to come across this video, please leave it down below in the comment section. You know more than me. You're watching this team on a daily, and you're in the inside scoop. So if I'm wrong about what I said today, please don't be afraid to challenge me. Let me know, why do you feel like Frank Reich was fired, and do you agree with the firing, Carolina Panthers fans? So as you say over there, or should I say down south in Carolina, keep pounding, and it will be good one day, Carolina fans. So y'all have a blessed one. My name is Gotti again. Hope you guys enjoyed today's content. See y'all later. Peace.